Lila had always been drawn to the idea of adventure, but she never imagined it would find her in the most unexpected way. On a quiet morning, she received an old, weathered envelope addressed to her, no stamps, no postmark, just her name in elegant handwriting. Inside was a key and a note that read, "For answers, go to the place where time stands still." Puzzled and intrigued, Lila spent the day trying to decipher the cryptic message. After hours of pondering, a memory sparked in her mind: the old abandoned clock tower in the heart of the city. It was a landmark she had often passed but never explored. The next day she decided to investigate. The tower, with its cracked facade and ivy-covered walls, seemed to beckon her. She pushed open the heavy wooden door, which creaked loudly as if protesting her intrusion. The air inside was thick with dust, and the faint smell of decay lingered. Shafts of light streamed through broken windows, illuminating motes of dust that floated like tiny galaxies. Lila's footsteps echoed as she climbed the spiral staircase. At the top, she found an old chest with a lock that matched her key. Her hands trembled as she turned the key and lifted the lid. Inside was a collection of letters, photographs, and trinkets. Each item seemed to tell a story of someone she didn't know but felt inexplicably connected to. Among the items was a journal. The entries were written in the same elegant handwriting as the note she had received. They detailed the life of a man named Elias, who had spent decades searching for something called the Nexus of Moments. According to the journal, the Nexus was a place where time folded in on itself, allowing people to relive pivotal moments or glimpse into the future. Elias believed it was hidden within the city, concealed by layers of history and secrecy. Lila's pulse quickened as she read further. The last entry was dated 50 years ago and simply said, "To find the Nexus, follow the light where it shouldn't be." Determined to uncover the truth, Lila began retracing Elias's steps. She explored forgotten corners of the city, guided by his notes and a growing sense of purpose. Her search led her to an underground network of tunnels, remnants of an old subway system abandoned decades ago. In one of the tunnels, she saw it, a faint, shimmering light emanating from a crack in the wall. As she approached, the light grew brighter, pulsating like a heartbeat. She touched the wall, and it gave way, revealing a hidden passage. At the end of the passage was a chamber unlike anything she had ever seen. The walls were lined with intricate carvings, and in the center stood a pedestal holding a glowing orb. This, she knew, was the Nexus of Moments. When Lila touched the orb, her surroundings dissolved into a kaleidoscope of colors and memories. She saw flashes of her past, moments she had forgotten or buried deep. She also glimpsed possible futures, some filled with joy, others with sorrow. It was overwhelming but exhilarating. She realized that the Nexus wasn't just a relic, it was a tool to understand the significance of every moment in her life. Emerging from the chamber, Lila felt transformed. She carried the weight of what she had seen, but also a newfound clarity. The experience had shown her that every decision, no matter how small, shapes the course of life in profound ways. The Nexus had given her a gift, not the power to change the past or predict the future, but the wisdom to live fully in the present. Returning to the surface, Lila knew she couldn't share her discovery with anyone. The Nexus was a secret meant to be protected. She resumed her life, but with a deeper appreciation for its fleeting moments. And though she would never revisit the chamber, she carried its lessons with her, knowing that some moments remain memorable not because they are extraordinary, but because they are ours to embrace. Lila couldn't shake the impact of her discovery. In the days that followed, she often found herself reflecting on the moments she had seen, both past and future. She revisited familiar places, now imbued with a new sense of significance. The park where she had spent countless hours as a child, the bookstore where she had found solace during difficult times, and the bridge where she had once made a life-changing decision. Each location seemed to hold a piece of the puzzle that was her life. Her nights, however, were filled with dreams. Vivid, lucid dreams that felt more like memories than figments of her imagination. She dreamed of Elias, retracing his journey through the city, his determination and despair as he searched for the Nexus. She saw his life unfold, his triumphs, his regrets, and the moment he decided to leave the journal behind for someone else to find. It was as if the Nexus had connected their lives in ways she couldn't fully understand. One dream in particular stood out. Lila found herself standing on the rooftop of a building she didn't recognize. The city stretched out before her, its lights flickering like stars. Beside her stood Elias, his presence calm and steady. He didn't speak, but she felt his message clearly. The Nexus was not the end of the journey, but the beginning. When she woke, she knew she couldn't let the Nexus remain a secret, even if she couldn't reveal its exact location. Its lessons had to be shared. Lila began documenting her experience, writing not just about the Nexus but about the importance of moments, the choices we make, the paths we take, and the connections we form. She shared her writings anonymously, publishing them in local newspapers and online forums. To her surprise, her words resonated deeply with others. People began sharing their own stories, reflecting on the moments that had shaped their lives. It was as if a ripple had been set in motion, touching lives in ways she hadn't anticipated. Despite her newfound purpose, Lila couldn't escape the lingering question: why had the Nexus chosen her? Was it chance, or was there a greater purpose at play? As she pondered this, she began noticing subtle changes in her surroundings. Strangers smiled at her more often. Opportunities seemed to present themselves at just the right time. It was as if the Nexus had not only given her clarity but also shifted the fabric of her reality. One evening, as she walked through the city, she found herself drawn to a small, dimly lit cafe. Inside, she noticed a man sitting alone at a corner table, writing in a notebook. Something about him felt familiar. When their eyes met, she realized why. He bore a striking resemblance to Elias. He smiled warmly and gestured for her to join him. They spoke for hours, sharing stories and insights. The man, whose name was Adrian, had also stumbled upon clues about the Nexus but had never found it. He had spent years searching, driven by the same curiosity that had led Lila to the clock tower. Their meeting felt like destiny, a convergence of paths set in motion long before they were born. Together they decided to continue exploring the mysteries of the Nexus. While Lila had found the chamber, she was certain there was more to discover. The carvings on the walls, the glowing orb, and the visions it had shown her were just pieces of a larger puzzle. Adrian's knowledge and perspective added a new dimension to her understanding, and their partnership felt like the next step in a journey that was far from over. As the weeks turned into months, Lila and Adrian delved deeper into the city's hidden history. They uncovered forgotten legends, deciphered cryptic maps, and pieced together stories of others who had sought the Nexus. Each discovery brought them closer to understanding its true nature and purpose. Along the way, they formed a bond that went beyond their shared quest, rooted in a mutual respect and a shared belief in the power of moments. Through their journey, Lila learned that the Nexus wasn't just about individual moments, but about the connections between them. It was a reminder that life is a tapestry woven from countless threads, each one contributing to the whole. And as she and Adrian stood on the brink of another discovery, she knew that their story was just one of many in the ever-unfolding mystery of the Nexus.